Good morning.
Morning, guys.
It's Freestyle Friday. Again, we haven't done one in a while.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
It is.
So is this where we just talk about the
Freestyle Friday.
Ah, you had that ready.
Oh, yeah. Our studio audience is...
They love it.
They've been drinking coffee all day in the green room, and they're all fired up.
We don't use those enough.
I want to just give a shout out to all those folks. I've been getting I got a couple pings on LinkedIn, and people saying, hey, I like your show. So
couple pings?
A couple pings.
Few pings.
Pings. Yeah. Thank you guys for all your support, and reach out to any of us anytime. We'd love to say hi.
Yeah.
Any questions and those kind of things.
Yeah. Our last episode, one of our recent episodes, our special guest that we had on branding. So
yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah. What's up, guys? What's your Friday look like?
So just this Freestyle Friday thing, explain it.
Does it need any explanations? It's already legendary.
Whose concept was this?
I think it's the Sevens concept.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. So today
we discuss various topics that
whatever
are on your
like.
mind or our mind.
Well, a lot of times we have guests or we talk about specific things, and this is, probably a little more timely. So, let's talk about what's going on in the world, what's going on in your business, your life.
What the heck is happening with the new Meta?
Oh, the new Meta.
Oh, yeah,
Meta.
That's right.
Facebook
Meta.
changed their
I'm wondering if we
name
should
to
sue
Meta.
them.
Oh, that's right.
Apparently, there's another company
for name. Yeah, no, we. It's funny when they announced that because our name is Metacake, and I was thinking like, oh man, hopefully our branded search terms don't go up.
There's a company called Meta. They make a product. I don't even know what it is. Something completely different. And
I'm sure there's others.
They're a publicly traded company, and their stock just bipped up. I think people were buying it thinking they were.
That's funny.
I don't know what's going on.
You guys should play with your SEO and just explain the word Meta more throughout your site.
Right.
I think you should. I think that's a cease and desist. You need.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
It doesn't
right
have
to Mark's door.
It doesn't have the cake, but it has the Meta.
Yeah. I own that.
They don't have very many. They don't have any good attorneys over there, anyway.
No, I'm sure. Clearly, they have a lot of attorneys right now. Unfortunately, it's part of being Facebook.
Yeah. So, what about this NFT thing they're doing too? I heard there's they're going to focus on NFTs and other things.
I
don't know if they know what they're doing.
I don't think so either.
I think they're trying to divert as much attention away from their social network as they can. Personally,
and I think this allows them to do other things completely different.
Yeah.
So, which they need to do something. They need to, do something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but I think this is like one of those holding names like Alphabet with Google, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if we'll be talking about Meta.
Maybe not.
Maybe we would. Maybe not eat those words, but maybe we won't so much after this announcement, right? Because as I understand it, they're just going to have different product lines, different businesses under that. So Facebook and Oculus and.
Well, if they try to own the metaverse, which that's what they keep talking about, I mean, that's where they'll tie it all together, I guess.
For sure.
But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I mean, it seems like, I don't know what Facebook's doing. I'm not a fan of Facebook.
Yeah.
I'll be the only one.
It's funny because this is just a little unknown secret is that I'm on Facebook almost every day looking at ad data. But I'm not on the platform. So people reach out to me.
Like most advertisers.
Yeah, people reach out to me all the time and like, man, I messaged you like a month ago. I'm like, I don't really see them.
Completely different login.
Just you have my phone number, just text me or something, call me.
Totally different login. You don't get those messages on the outside.
Yeah, the only thing is it's all like tied in with Instagram. And that I think is going to be interesting. Like, how are they going to build a wall of separation? Are they going to continue to push both at the same time? I don't know. It's an interesting world that we live in right now. So what's going on with you, Brad? What are you working on these days?
Oh man, we're working on a RFP this week. That is, we talked in the past about RFPs, but I just haven't quite. I don't have a secret sauce for RFPs. I think other agencies have figured it out where they're able to create RFP modules and be able to put together an RFP, in no time. And just with a little, 80% of it's like RFP blocks, and they're able to put these blocks together and respond to these RFPs in a thoughtful way. And I just feel like we haven't got there yet in our business, and everything seems like it's like we cut and paste, but that's about it. Like cut and paste and then rework and cut and paste and rework and rework. But there's got to be a better way to this system. I would like to hear from you guys. Like,
How many pages are your proposals at the end of the day?
it depends on what the ask is. I mean,
Like for
everything
this one, what do you think it'll be?
100 from 100 pages to
Really?
15 pages. This one's probably altogether about small. It's about 10.
Okay. I thought you said, gotcha.
But I mean, this is an easy one compared to the. I mean, we were on one with one of the largest nonprofits in the world, and we were working with another agency, and it was an 8-minute highly produced video, 8-minute highly produced with every major person who was on the account speaking. Very well done. It was 30-page deck, and the other responses were probably 40 pages for an RFP. Now, it was a $30 million account, but it was probably 5 people, almost a total month of work for 5 people.
And you didn't get it?
And we didn't get it.
Yeah,
that's a lot of resources.
You did a
created.
highly produced video for the RFP?
Just to get in the door. The first requirement was you had to send in a video, an 8-minute video, highlighting your agency and the players and what makes you special, and send it to them. That was the very first opening the door. Then you got to the next level. We got to the next level because we produced a pretty cool video.
Yeah,
and
you can talk.
Yeah. Yeah. And
for 8 minutes.
Well, no, it was fun.
Joking.
It was good. Yeah. It was a good video. There was probably 20 people in the video total.
Yeah.
And
all the different agencies.
From all different agencies, from all different areas of the country. Sure. And then from there, it went to, we got to the door, we got to the finals, and then it went down to a final online presentation, meet and greet. And we lacked in one area. It was the PR area. I think that we really lacked a lot in. This organization needed a lot more PR punch. But with that being said, that was a big one. That was a risk taker, and you take those risks. But it's like, think about that. All the energy. If it took 5 people full time for a month almost, and let's say there was 30 agencies to 50 agencies going after that business. That is a lot of resources put in just to get a company to understand you.
And
it's
and
like
also you got
expensive dating.
I know you got to think. I mean, I think there's got to be a better way than that.
There's got to be,
right? So and when it's not like they write you a $30 million check if you win the bid.
No, they don't pay you for your time.
No, but I mean, I'm saying even the thing you win.
No, you're not getting a $30 million check. You're gonna maybe get. Yeah, you're maybe going to take 10 to 20% of that 30 million. That's what hopefully you're going to profit from it.
Right.
So you got to make up your,
hopefully.
Yeah, you got to make up your $60,000, $70,000 that you lost, maybe time just going after it.
Yeah. I mean, I wish there was an easy push button way that you could say, oh, RFPs are easy. I think at 5x5, what we do is there has been a dedicated salesperson, business development person that's been there for, 6-7 years. And that's all she does is business development. Like she does nothing else but sales, RFPs, write proposals. And I think when you have a person that's seasoned, that's done it, that has learned, that has a knowledge base, that is skilled at that, and that's all they do, it makes it easy for that person, and specifically for her. She has so much data, she's so organized that she can take blocks from almost anywhere and say, this RFP needs this, this, and this. Oh, I can dig back in, and I've got this spreadsheet that says we wrote this RFP 3 months ago for this. I'll just cut and paste. And she's skilled at Keynote and decks and everything. So that makes it nice. But having the luxury of a person who does that 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, 5 days a week, not all of us have that in agencies, right? So it's you and maybe another team member. But I think there is a value for sure in if you're going to write several RFPs during the year, if you're going to write a lot of proposals, to begin to create some sort of organized structure of knowing, okay, is it all in one place that we can all find it at any given time? And can you put the effort and brain power into creating that and putting effort to it and say, we need to have 4 different ways of bios. We need to have 3 different ways of saying, here's our skill sets. Here's the way that, here's case studies of, here's 5 different industries that we know we can pull from. I know that that's kind of pie in the sky. Nobody has time to do that. But there's definitely an advantage of having a full-time dedicated person that does nothing and lives and breathes that. But I don't know, apart from that, I don't know of an easy way other than hiring someone or contracting someone that does it professional.
There may be a service out, like an online automated service out there, that you could build these building blocks, and then you could actually type in like the narrative, like I need like this, 3 case studies in this industry, and automatically, based on tags, it automatically goes out and finds everything and then places them in order, the language, the starting language, and then allows you to do something. I think that would be pretty interesting.
You could probably do that with some of these AI writing solutions.
Yeah, you could probably do that too. I think, maybe like Grammarly has those things where you have templates and business templates and things like that, and you probably can do other things like that, and it can automatically create a lot of the initial language, because the time consuming is looking at the requirements and then going back and going, okay, where's the case study that we did that is very similar, that they would see this as being very similar to their challenges or their business or their industry, and then trying to find it and then resurrecting it and then looking at it and then retweaking it a little bit for them, maybe having it feel more personalized for what their needs are. So it's just a constant, or do you just slap it together and send it in? I was going to say, what? And because they just want to make sure, they just want to check off the boxes.
What's the win percentage of?
Exactly.
I would wonder, it'd be worth some agency's time, with all the time spent in RFPs, to say, hey, what's the difference? Like when we spend maximum number of hours on an RFP, what's our win percentage? And when we spend 0 minutes on an RFP, what's our win percentage? I'd be curious to know what that is. Like, what do you think does it get? I would imagine there's an exponential decrease in returns.
Yes. I think that most companies, when they do an RFP, they're just looking to check off the boxes. Are they reputable? Do they have the qualifications? And do they have the experience, blah, blah, blah. And then when it comes down to they always want a personal meeting with you. And I think that's where you're sold. The personal meeting. Do they like your personality? Do they like the people you're going to work with? Do they feel like they can work with you? Do you come off arrogant and they feel like you're not going to listen to them? And, like those are the nuances that I think that they really make the decision. I don't think it's just the initial materials they're looking for. I think that's just to check off the list.
I think the problem that we deal with is like there's no uniform standard or process, right? Except for some government agencies. So when we talk about this issue that we struggle with, the real problem is an RFP is not necessarily an RFP is an RFP, right? So it could have 100 requirements. It could have 10. It could want this format, and the person on the other side of the table making the decision, there's no like certification. So you can't build something that there's no uniform process for that you're being given. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So it's not like I know what to study to get my driver's license. So we can all agree this is what you do and this is how you do it. When you're talking about RFP and proposals, that could look like
completely different.
1,000
and
different
the formats
versions,
are different.
formats.
Like we've tried to make ours look really nicely designed, because I feel like that's like you walk into an interview, you're not going to dress in holy jeans and stuff. Like we want to make sure that the presentation feels like this is what you're going to get from us. You're always going to get a high quality, even creative, because that's something that we specialize in.
Right.
And so we always want to basically do it right, but that takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time. Anyways,
Yeah, and I guess there's schools of thought. And Ken, I don't want to speak for you, but you probably fall more in this camp of like, why even bother? Why go after that business? Why spend time?
Well, maybe just slightly different than that though. With RFPs, like we've always kind of been aware of the amount of time that it takes to kind of put into it. And what in our experience, in my experience, I would say, I don't know, 8 out of 10 RFPs seem like once you get into it, seem like maybe the person that was writing it didn't know what they were talking about in certain areas. And that starts to make you think, well, they probably don't know what they need. And so it sounds a little crazy to spend time responding to a question that clearly doesn't hit the mark of what they probably need and will probably need to be rewritten and adjusted and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so there's just at the top level, it's like, well, how can our time be best used? Right. Fortunately for what we do, we come at it from a certain perspective and from the specialization side of things. And so I think it's been our philosophy to leverage that and say, look, we're not going to respond to an RFP unless, in rare, most of the time, it's not all the time, but most of the time we won't just respond to an RFP in the normal way. And would rather say, hey, look, if you want to work with us, like, let us know why you want to work with us, why you want us to be involved. And then we can tell you what that might look like. It may not be responding to your RFP.
So let me ask you a question, because I always...
There have been times, actually, and this has worked really well. This is a little hack, at least for us, where, and this actually provides value to the client, but we say, hey, look, actually your RFP doesn't look like it hits the mark. Would you like us to rewrite it? And we can charge you this amount and we'll scope the whole thing for you. We'll rewrite it for you. You could take it out to market for another agency or you could keep working with us. And that's actually worked pretty well.
Really?
Yeah.
So a lot of times you
got to do it in a non-arrogant way, obviously, because obviously they could be offended, but there are ways to do that. And that's worked really well.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're going to ask a question.
No, I've seen where companies are just looking for you to respond in the way that they've asked. Can they take assignments, and can they actually nail the assignment? Like, can they write the RFP in the order that we requested it? Can they write it with the specifics the way we wanted it to? But so what you're saying is we don't take the risk of RFP. We don't spend the time and energy. What we do instead is say, listen, if you want to work with us, then let's talk, but we're not going to fool around with this thing.
Right. And
we don't even think that it's even, it's not a good RFP. Basically, we can't even scope this RFP based on your RFP. We got one like that in where literally they want to do they want us to estimate and quote a social media advertising campaign. And I'm like, that's it. I'm like, well, that's like saying, we want you to build a house. Can you tell us how much it's going to cost?
Right. Yeah.
Like, okay, well, location, size, how many bathrooms, what type of, how much per square feet do you want to get into? Like, there's so many more questions, and maybe they're just looking for you to ask questions because typically they say, hey, you got this much time to ask questions. But that's just a lot of nonsense.
Right. And my goal is to cut. I would want to cut through that because we don't all have the time to do that, right? Most agencies, their profit margins aren't even that great. So if you start spending time on things that are completely a waste of time, right? Like, no, it's not good for the client. It's not good for you. Like, no one's getting value out. It's literally wasted time. How do you remove that?
Yeah.
How do you say that nicely though to them? Like, do you feel like maybe they're just not the right client because they're just not, the RFP is pretty weak?
Well, no, I mean, I think there's a way to say it nicely that's not arrogant. And it's just almost being like, hey, look, thanks so much for asking us to be part of this. Here's how we work. For these reasons, we don't spend a lot of time. We're going to market and kind of competing in the RFP world, but we'd love to work with you if you want to work with us.
Okay.
So my goal is our philosophy is to get to the root of like if they want us or not, because like you said, a lot of times they've already had a decision and they just need extra quotes. I don't want to be those people, right? Like, I don't want to be the extra guys that that are just there for comparison. It's a complete waste of time. I think it's borderline unethical on the client side to ask for that personally, but that's just me, right? Like where you're like, I know I'm going to waste your time, but I'm going to still take it. And I'm not going to tell you I'm going to waste your time. To me, that's,
you're like
borderline
unethical.
unethical.
It is. It's like you're going to jump through our hoops. And
But
if you're good enough, then maybe you might have a chance.
But sometimes they know you're not, right? Or that's what you're going to say. Sorry, yes.
But most people have enough on their website or something that at least they understand whether or not they're a candidate.
But we know a lot of times it's like, they've already got the person they want to work with potentially, and they need to compare it to other
They're just
quotes.
doing price quoting.
And they make other people waste their time to give you that.
You know, one way to
I like that approach.
Another little trick.
Can I stop you really quickly? I just want to say, Ken, that's badass.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I like that. No, I like that.
And like the idea is, just to finish the thought, is like obviously you don't want to be, if there's 10 people that are going to be involved, like you just don't want a 1 in 10 chance.
No, I know.
Right? And you probably have a worse chance than that if you don't know them at all, because they probably know somebody in the lineup.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So it's probably less of a chance than 1 in 10. And so the idea is, would I have less of a chance in like, is there a 1 in 10 chance if I ask the question, hey, if you want us, just let us know, that I would get it? Like I would imagine that my chances would be no less than 1 in 10 on that either. And so that's a lot less work to do that. Yeah. And you just got to do it in a nice way.
Yeah.
And the way we do it is we just explain the common sense reality to it.
Yeah.
Which is like, we don't waste our time. We're specialists here. We do.
Do you have any language, like you've sent that before, that you can send over to me?
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to see how practically someone does that. So, because there are RFPs that we just don't participate in because we know that we just don't have the bandwidth to go after that, to spend the amount of time in the RFP that they request. So that could be like as a backup, hey, we could still go for it, but this is our response.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely say
we have another little twist on that too, that it's similar, but it's a little different, and it doesn't always work, especially if the clients aren't super local or if they're across the other side of the country. But we a lot of times will say, well, we don't write proposals on the fly. We don't do RFPs. However, we would love to invite you into the office and spend a few hours and do what we call a strategy session with them. And at the end of that strategy session, we'll give you a deliverable that's detailed, executable on really what you need for this project. And if you choose to hire us, great. Or you can go take that, and it's a much
and you get paid
more,
to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
We charge them and say, we want to invite you to our office. We can tell you about us. We just don't feel like we can do justice writing a proposal with no knowledge of and we really put the onus back on them, saying, we want to immerse ourselves into your business so that we can give you back the best strategy value of what you need. We can't do that by answering 10 questions or whatever.
Yeah, I like that too. I think both of those responses to me are identical. Yours just is more like, help us unpack it further. You need help just unpacking.
And the key in that is and it's the philosophy of if you get them to invest into you,
exactly,
something small. So the cool thing about that is, and we've done that in the same way, but not bring them in. We said, hey, look, if like the same thing, if you want us to rewrite it, we can charge you for that. It'll be a little amount and do that. The idea is though, such a small amount, right? It's like, hey, you can invest a couple $1,000s and get value out of it and improve your RFP and take that to market. That I've found is the litmus test for if they're serious or not.
Exactly.
With you.
Right.
Because if they are, we've had many people do that, and it's actually provided a lot of value. It's actually helped the entire project, because now everyone's, so now they're paying, so they have to pay attention, right? Which is not the case when it's free, right? Like a lot of times it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, because I'm not paying for anything, so there's oftentimes not a focus on the client side to actually make the investment worthwhile, the time worthwhile. So they pay attention and they actually engage. You're getting paid so you can give real value, and the end result is
they get something that's
you actually have a real project scope and everything.
I see that working for most businesses that have RFPs, but there are some
Yeah.
mega
They're not
large
going to do that.
organizations that have maybe a lot of C-level folks who are part of the end process, and they wouldn't be able to all fly and sit in rooms and talk about things and so like that. So sometimes they need something they can just put down on a table and compare agencies and someone talking through them. And some, going back to this larger nonprofit, they actually had a third party that was vetting. So there's companies out there that's all they do is work with these large companies to help vet and
Manage
create,
the RFPs.
manage
Yeah.
and write the RFPs and do all the pre-filtering and things of that nature. So there's all different ways, but for the most part, I think most of our RFPs are similar to what you guys are talking about. So I think maybe that is the response, and because
Brad, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
That is the response.
you're pretty confident about that.
No, because like, also, isn't there, you would agree with this, I know you do. Sometimes we do things because it's the way we do them, and we don't rethink them.
Yes.
But the truth is like,
We need to,
if you're really good at something, your time's going to be really valuable.
it is.
And so it communicates that you're really good at something if you show that your time's really valuable, right?
Yes.
And I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying, sometimes we get caught in doing the things the normal way, but the truth is RFPs, especially if there's no relationship at all, and it's like pretty cold, RFPs are a high risk waste of time.
Yes.
Right? Like a high risk.
Yeah.
And what would Warren Buffett do that?
Would Warren?
Yeah.
I don't know Warren.
Would he waste his time? Would he take a 1 in 10 chance of like
No.
30 hours and $70,000?
No.
Probably not.
Well, the same thing is like I look at everything in my business as an investment. So
Right.
I look at that time and money. And it's money that's spent. If I put that into something, an asset or something that's going to have returns down the road, I'd put that time that would turn into money into something that was going to have returns probably bigger. I could get 20%. So instead of wasting it on rolling the dice, I could guarantee myself 20% in
Right.
2 years on that resource.
Yeah,
Plus-
that's good.
Plus, you have a chance to figure out, like, have them pick you. You can reverse it, right?
And,
Yeah,
and there's
that's exactly
also,
what we want.
I think psychologically, I've seen this over and over again, that when you differentiate yourself as an agency between all others and say, we either we don't do RFPs. There's something that in the mind of there's a reason they reached out to you.
They
right?
want you more.
Exactly. And I think that's very ethical
The
in
forbidden
being
fruit.
honest, because when you're honest with somebody and you're authentic and you say, this is why we don't do that. If they really wanted you in the first place, then it should, then they're going to say, oh, well, would you consider this?
Yes.
Or would you or you pitch, come on in and we'll sit down and talk.
Yeah.
If they don't, then maybe you wouldn't have got it in the first place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to me, that feels like a gamble, but it's not. It's actually a more secure way.
So how of your RFPs that you guys, let's talk to you, Bob, and you don't have to, if you don't feel comfortable giving this
Sure.
information, but how many
This is Agency
RFPs
Exposed.
How many are? Yeah, it is. We're going to expose some things. How many RFPs do you think that you've been part of that you react that way versus actually complete an RFP based on, like, is there a percentage? Do you think that 50% you're responding in the way you talked about, like, hey, we're not going to respond to this, but complete, we'd love to do this for you?
I would say in the last several years, we don't go seeking, and I don't go seeking, depending on, where I was at the time. Don't go seeking RFPs. It's just not on my radar, meaning, yes, they might come in, but it's just one of those things of, like you said, Ken, it's not worth our time and effort. Now, I would say in my younger years or when times were lean, definitely it's a way to win business. And if you've got the time and the effort and the need, it's a great way to learn and to put your information down. And another thing I would say that we haven't talked about is one other value of completing RFPs is not so much winning it, but getting in the mind and getting on the radar of the person that's there. I've had more and more business come from lost RFPs than won RFPs, meaning they would say, we really liked what you offer and what you guys do, but it wasn't a right fit this time. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, somebody will reach out and say, hey, do you remember me? We talked when I was working over here at this RFP. We've got a need for that.
Yeah.
So there's that's a 50-50 of, do you want to spend time dropping glorified business cards in front of people? There's definitely some value of that. But just to answer your question, I would say we rarely do RFPs at 5x5, only because we don't. It's not in our business model, and we don't have a need for it. However, I would think maybe once or twice a year we would do an RFP.
All right. Well, those are good. I mean, it's really good for me to hear what other folks or other agencies are doing and with this whole thing, because I think this RFP thing is just I just don't like them.
I think they're getting less and less, honestly.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think sometimes they call it something else, sometimes they don't.
Right? Yeah.
And I think it's
depending on the industry you're going
and I think part of our, I think, Bob, you've talked to me about this, is really building even your quoting system and the way you quote, do estimates, is to creating product sets that are blocks as well. Right. I feel like everything that we do is very customized. Everything we do is, even our pricing is customized, because there's so many variances and nuances and variables that are different from every single client that might change the amount of resources that they need to be able to complete what they want to do. But I like to try to productize more of our business. So like, this is a product, this is a product, this is a product, this is how much it costs. Whether it's a monthly fee or whatever, and build it that way. I just feel like there's got to be some way to build these in blocks a little bit more. And
the nice thing about that too is it equips everybody in your company and your organization to be salespeople when they know, like, you're not bending to the needs of the client of saying, well, we're going to customize this for you. Yeah. You say, here's our rate. Here's our cost for this. Here's how much we charge for this, and everybody knows. It empowers sales a lot more.
Do you guys have a software or an online, cloud software that you guys use for that automation? And if you guys don't, maybe somebody out there does, that they could recommend, like
for the proposal side.
Yeah, just to be able to allow your team to put together quotes and know that their pricing is on spec with what the agency charges, and being able to, like, maybe build these, an estimating quoting system online that you could just send to a potential client or even current clients and get signatures digitally and stuff. I mean, we do most of our signatures are digital signatures, but we don't have like a more of an automated system for that.
Panda Docs is what we use.
What do you use?
Panda Docs.
You use Panda?
And it's I haven't found anything better. Maybe you guys know, we've looked at a bunch, but it's really good. I mean, it could be better in certain areas, but it's a huge improvement over anything else out there that we've used.
Like I said, we have somebody who's dedicated to that, so it's just more of a Google, an organized Google Drive where all of the presentations and the info, and there's a more of a uniformed, naming structure of what anybody's needs. So
but when you come down to the nice thing about doing some cloud software is you can build blocks. So like with Panda Docs, you can get signatures. You can even take payment, the first payment there electronically. So there's some nice, like, again, I feel like a lot of times, not I feel like most people would say that the more customized, more different your products are, the less scalable you are. And you might not want to be scalable if you're listening, but you might want to eventually be able to delegate, and so the less delegatable you are too, is the more customized it is. And so productizing, obviously that's something that we work a lot on, but I think installing systems and using systems where someone else can put something together, and it's not this guy Brad needs to know or Ken needs to know, I need to ask him what it's like. Once you can empower people, then your business is just better and healthier,
I keep on, this phrase that, that businesses run on processes, and the people run the processes. So the business runs on processes, and that's one thing that I continue to, I don't do a good job at it, but it's something on my, my mind all the time. It's like, how do you make this a process that anyone can do, so that I could fire myself, or if something, happened to me, the business could continue without a few key people,
I wanted to say, you mentioned about having standardized costs for different service products and those kind of things. We did that a while back, and still have a long way to go with it. But one of the benefits of that is there are less footholds to haggle it. Right? It's like when something's custom from straight up, like everyone, like you start to pick apart. Well, why is this, and why is this? What if I wanted to change this? Once you break the seal of custom, is all bets are off. Like everything is game for discussion. And that's a lot of time. It can be a lot of effort. Once it's productized and you don't break the seal of custom, like you just don't break that seal, the warranty seal, like, how to break.
It's like Apple's a master of that.
You don't break, that's a term we use a lot. We don't break the seal. If you don't, then there's nothing, like it is what it is. Like this product is this product, right? You don't walk up to, Jane at the Apple store and say, so what if I took out that hard drive?
Can you make this hard drive? Can you make this MacBook thinner for me, please?
Well, can I knock $200 off if I like take 2 gigs of memory off? Anyway, point is it helps there. And it helps when selling it, and also just the negotiation process a lot.
I would agree with that. I would definitely. And you hold back and save those discounts for the right time, and then they become special. So for instance, you say, we'll give you, this is the price for a 6-month retainer, and here's how much it costs. But if you do 12-month, we're going to discount your hourly rate. So that all of a sudden becomes a more powerful incentive that you can use really more to your advantage to extend, the contract or whatever it may be. It's a win for you. Always, you break the seal to win for you, not for necessarily for the client.
And the other side of it is there's, it's funny, like when just translating, there's work translating, these things into benefits to the client. It is a benefit to the client, but a lot of times we're not coming from that mindset, but that's the truth, right? And so once you can do that, though,
help me help you. Let me help you.
Help me help you. No, seriously, because like if we're wasting a bunch of time doing RFPs, then we have to raise. Then honestly, like, what do you think is going to happen? We're more expensive. You're going to pay for it. If we're going to waste a bunch of time negotiating and doing all this kind of stuff, or if you're going to will me down to nothing, you're not going to get a good service. I'm not going to get any profit. We're both going to be unhappy, right? So like, there's reasons behind. It's not selfishness, right? There's reasons behind these things, and if you can unpack those and communicate them in the right places. Like I've mentioned this before, we do about billing. Like we only do electronic billing. One reason we do is we don't have any staff that goes out and beats on doors and and follows up with people and becomes personal assistant to the people that want to pay. And like, we don't do late fees. We don't do any kind of those things, right? And without having that, that's how we can actually give an efficient rate, and a lot of value for the products we offer. If we did have that, then that wouldn't be the case. And so just kind of translating those things, because they're not selfish things. They're things that have benefit. But sometimes we're not articulating those well,
That's good. That's good. What else are you guys working on? Ken, what are you guys working on this week?
Oh man, what are we working on this week? Trying to close up the year.
Don't you guys feel like we're at a sprint? Like things are going to shut down in about, the mid to end of November, and they're just not gonna, you might as well just forget it as far as getting stuff done.
Unless you're in e-commerce.
That's true.
The two sides of the coin that we're in with e-commerce is it's a busy time of year. It can be a high stress time of year for our clients. But it's also a slower sales time of year. And so, because most people are head down, and so we're working, and so we're just trying to, our goal is to like make sure that our systems are good so that we can support people and also enjoy all of the holidays we do, and And so that's a big part of it. What's going on right now with us? I'm trying to think of what else is happening. I don't know. I'm going through my week.
Yeah. The year end thing for me is always like you said. It's busy on one sense, but then it's frustrating on the other. It's kind of like, okay, we got to close this out. No more sales on this side. So, you guys doing anything this fun for the holidays?
Which one?
Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Yeah, we're having a family
Halloween.
family
Nice.
reunion. So people are coming in from all over the
You going to
United
Detroit?
States.
Detroit?
No, they're all
Be in
coming
Detroit.
here. They're all coming here.
Okay.
So we're having a big family affair here. It's gonna be fun. Looking
Both
forward.
sides of the family?
No, one side of the family.
But
It's not
do you-
my family. It's my wife's family.
Okay.
Yeah. Looking forward to my daughter coming back too for Thanksgiving. She's in
Nice.
California in college, studying broadcast journalism, and she's working on a piece right now. Some major Orange County piece that she's working on. Some news story.
We're going out to California to see my son
Oh,
for
fun.
Thanksgiving. So
Where you
go
guys
to
staying?
Disneyland.
Oh,
Gonna
yeah.
stay in Burbank.
Oh, you're going to Disneyland? Yeah. My
Yeah.
daughter lives like 10 minutes from there.
Yeah,
so.
it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. I didn't know Disneyland was open.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're open now?
Yeah.
Great. Cool. That's great.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking
man.
forward to it.
All right, guys. Well, man,
Get that RFP done.
Friday. Yeah, today's the last day for us, so we're gonna be done, and,
It's the deadline.
and we're gonna submit it, and we'll roll the dice. But send me that copy. I want to see.
Yeah, I will.
I think that a lot of what we do is we could go after more with that kind of response, just to see. I'd like to start trying these and seeing how people respond. If they say, you know what, if you're not willing to participate, see you later, or if they're like, yeah, let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a good thing.
So we'll do a follow up and see if you
Yeah,
got
let's
that
see what
business.
happens.
Like it.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Until next time.
All right.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.